So I made this I made it and then decided to give it to a friend of mine who's well into Gothic stuff. And I've made it out of foam board. Okay, so it's got little stickers out of I think it's graphic 45, and these little hinges are cut from a die cut label. Spellbinders, one of their tag label dies, which I cut off to make they're not actually the hinges, but they look like the hinges. Okay, so on the outside I've put some little mulberry roses, a little brad with a ring on it, looks like a little handle. This is the other end of that die cut, which I've put under the hinge just to decorate it up a bit, and a little sparkly back button which I cut the shank off. This is my friend's picture, wrapped up in gauze like a shroud, and some cotton bud end, cotton wool, which I've pulled out to make the spider's web. Anyway, the hinges are always an issue. I don't know if you can see the hinges there. They sit up in there. I thought these were butter hinges or butterfly type hinges, but they only open to about, what's that, 90, about 120. So that was a bit of an issue. So I end up sticking them with some little brads that came with some other fittings, and one is a rivet. But they were painful to put on, as you can imagine. Anyway, that's something I made. But my main issue is the fittings, the little screws and things you need for the hinges. I can never seem to get anything that's right for me. It's either too short or too long or too weak. If you buy screws, I can never get them quite the right length. And if I do, you end up with the nut on the inside, which is kind of ugly. The rivets, the little brass rivets I used one there. They're painful to put on once you sort of got them, trying to get them fitted into little tight spaces. And they're only so long that this is 3mm foam board. They just fit on that. So anything thicker than that's a problem. So anyway, I've come up with a couple of alternatives that I'm waiting to hear about. One is Starlock retaining washers, which they use on axles or little rods to hold fittings on, and I've just ordered a couple of dozen of various sizes to use on this styrene rod, which is what I'm currently experimenting with. I've got this is 2mm, 2.5mm and 3mm. Now this is a little practice one I made. It's got a little brass washer underneath, but I've melted the styrene rod, tapped it down to make this round flat end, put it through the hole, put the washer on, which I don't think I really needed, but anyway, it's on there. And then I used a little burner, a little gas butane torch. This one's a Weller one. It's pretty good actually, because you can screw this soldering end off, which I use a bit too, and it's just a little torch end then, a little fine flame. And I melt the other end of the styrene, tap it down, and then you've got a screw, which is very inexpensive. And if it's, if it doesn't work out, well, you can just cut it off with a sharp knife. You just slip the blade under there and it comes off. But otherwise, it holds on really well. It's quite tight, stronger than little tiny brads anyway, and pennies to make. So I'm going to make another video showing how I actually fit those on, and that'll be quite interesting. Okay, thanks a lot.